Tim was given up at birth, left behind before he ever had a chance to be loved. He grew up alone, moving through foster homes and hard streets, learning early that life didn't wait for anyone. Survival came first, and by the time he was older, the streets had shaped him into something dangerous. Tim became a thug, selling illegal things, running with people the law watched closely and never trusted. The police saw him as a criminal. They never saw the man who quietly helped his community. Tim fixed broken steps for elderly neighbors, left food on doorsteps at night, and protected kids who had no one else. He never asked for credit. He didn't believe he deserved it. Everything changed when he met Jane. She was beautiful in ways that went deeper than looks. She saw Tim for who he was, not who the streets said he had to be. When their son, Jaylen, was born, Tim felt something he had never felt before: purpose. He wanted to be better, not just for himself, but for the little boy who looked at him like he was a hero. 2 years later, that hope was tested when Tim's adopted brother was killed in a drive-by shooting. The loss shattered him. It made one thing painfully clear: if he stayed in the gang, his family would never be safe. Tim tried to leave, but the gang leader, Kevin, refused to let him go. So Tim disappeared. He moved to a new city with Jane and Jaylen and started over. Life finally began to feel normal. Tim found a steady job, met new people, and earned enough to take care of his family. He married Jane, and together they built a quiet life as respectable citizens. No one in their new community knew Tim's past. No one except his wife, who carried his truth with love and silence. Then, one night, there was a knock at the door. Kevin stood there, a ghost from the past. He promised Tim freedom if he would do one last job. Tim refused. He had a wife. He had a child. Kevin looked disappointed, then asked Tim to hold onto a bag until the next afternoon. Against his better judgment, Tim agreed, but only once. One favor turned into many. Kevin kept asking. Tim kept helping. Until one day, Tim finally said no. Enough was enough. Kevin grew angry. Words turned into fists, and the fight ended with Tim knocking Kevin unconscious. Tim walked away, believing it was over. 2 weeks later, Tim decided to take his family out to dinner. They stopped at a red light. Tim glanced to his right and saw Kevin staring back at him, hatred burning in his eyes. Then everything happened at once. Gunfire exploded, tires screeched, and the car sped away. Tim panicked, asking if everyone was okay. Jane said she was hit. He tried to help her, then turned to the back seat and called out to Jaylen. There was no answer. Jane and Tim turned together. Jaylen sat lifeless in the back seat. In that moment, Tim realized that no matter how hard he tried to escape his past, it had finally caught up to him, and it took everything he was trying to protect.
But the time's play yours to laugh.